And if you're seeing this, it's totally aligned. Just ask where you should go and then going there. Hi, welcome to the Hot Girl Frequency. If you don't know me, now you do. My name is City. I'm the next. So here on the Hot Girl Frequency, we just talk about being hot, what it means to be a great person, and also just whatever else I want to talk about that coincides with just being fierce and yourself, because that's kind of like the necessity of being hot. It's kind of like being a bitch, like being in total control of yourself, herself. Today, I really want to talk about having an open mind. Having an open mind about this planet, this earth, not thinking that like things aren't going to work out for you or that they'll go a certain way because you've only ever seen them happen that way before. I think a lot of this stems into having like traumatic patterns as a child. There's like a few main things that can really fuck up your life. A lot of it is a lot of excess fear and guilt, which is like scarcity. It's never feeling like you'll ever have enough. It's feeling guilty just about like having nice things. I think especially for my girls in America, guilt is a very prominent feature of our country because we have a lot of privileges here. And when you have something that you think other people can't have or don't have because of their situations, it can make you feel like shit about yourself. But the thankful remedy is that having pleasures and having nice things and having luxuries on this planet is not a crime in and of itself. There is a perspective of it where being consumed by materialness constructs walls around you, but in truth, all things are neutral. I remember when I read A Course in Miracles, like the very first teaching that really, and it's the one that stuck to me the most to this day. If you don't know what A Course in Miracles is, it is this, it's just, it teaches you how to create miracles in your life, and it's all about healing and forgiveness, acceptance. Please give it a try. But the first miracle is everything I see is neutral. And so it helps to get rid of that preconceived notion that we have that one thing is greater than another. I know that in the realm of material spheres, people think that lives are one way because somebody has a nice car, but also you don't really know what that nice car actually means for the person. Sometimes somebody works their butt off, like from ground floor to the CEO level of a business, or someone could have been gifted that by their fucking sugar daddy. There's so many ways and so many experiences of this planet, and so I want to talk about having an open mind, because having an open mind is crucial to being hot. It's about taking into account that there are things that you don't know. I feel like an aspect of being hot is knowing that there's still more that you could always do for yourself. When you go on any journey or any experience on this planet, it's never ending. As we know, or as you might have been hearing for the first time itself is cyclical in nature. So you're always going around one circle or another, doing one thing. Like it could be wanting to get a new job, you go to school, and those cycles are all completed in and of itself. And then you start new cycles, which is what the spiral comes in. It's all about that infinite growth potential of everything, the universe, you know? I myself am on my own spiral, just learning how to accept myself for what I want. For a long time, I really wanted to be famous and I really wanted to make a lot of money and be super rich. And there was a time where I was like, is this like a bad thing? But then I realized that no matter what I did, it doesn't go away. And also, who's to say that they don't want those same things? And so, like, being on this frequency of having an open mind, it's more so the capability to understand so many different perspectives, and also knowing that you can't really predict the future. Although I know there are some girlies out there that love their tarot cards, and I do too. I've been doing tarot readings and like divination stuff since I was like 15, so almost 10 years now. But you can't always predict the future. You can only ever pick up on patterns, and us as humans, we're so good at pattern recognition. But unfortunately for us, being so good at pattern recognition, especially for my ADHD people out there, is that we seem to create our own boxes of what the world should look like. We think that if we do these certain things or go on a certain path, that it'll always end up in our favor. But the truth about life, well, one of the many truths about life that I know is for certain, is that we don't always know the outcome of anything. Even the most prominent seers throughout all time have always made mistakes. Like the Oracle of Delphi, she literally got bought out from another group of people. I don't know who it's called, but they paid her enough money to where she would like change her predictions. And so it's curveballs like that that help bring in the uncertainty of life. And so bringing it back to having an open mind, it's also helps you able to see beauty in other people and things. And so I think that especially if you grow up in a certain culture, you're predominantly placated with so many different ideas of what the world should look like or how people act or how you think you should act, especially from conditioning. What's interesting about opening your awareness to other parts of the world, which is why everybody says to go travel, because although this world is limited in what we can do, but there's so much to see. There's so much in this world that we don't even know about. So I want to implore you, if you're on this hot girl frequency, then you're there. If you're seeing this, it's totally, because you're a part of it. But it's about having the capacity to know that there could always be more, being okay with that, being okay with the fact that you don't know everything or have all the answers, but being accepting of what comes your way. Because having an open mind leads you to so many different great experiences. I know when I first started like working on it, like accepting that, I've been through some things in my life, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to be there. And for me, that especially was worked through when I was working through shame. I think having like trauma as like someone who saw the world differently, I always felt like shit about myself because I thought that like I really wasn't good enough. I thought that because I wasn't looking this way, like if I didn't look like this one girl or if I didn't act like this one person, then I would never be beautiful. But then you get turned on your head because you're like, well, who decides like all of these different rules of how the world should be? Because then we have other perspectives where people talk about, oh, well, like just be yourself and do this and do that. But then people don't get taught how to be themselves. And usually we forget, and this is going to become a hot girl principle, is that the world is an outer reflection of the self. And so when you look around and all you see is decay and dirt and grime, that's something that you probably might feel about yourself. Because oftentimes, too, when you see something in other people, you know that you portray those same things. And that's not to say that there's something wrong with you and that if you dislike someone or hate them or, they do things that make you annoyed, upset, uncomfortable, there are people that are committing crimes against humanity. That doesn't mean that you're committing crimes against humanity or stealing or hurting other people. It's more so like when you see someone that does something annoying, or if you judge someone for creating content a certain way, if you judge someone for the way they do their job, you probably do similar things to them that you think are annoying, which is really funny. And that's why it's important to start with an open mind towards everything because you don't know the full story. That's another miracle. It's just acknowledging that when you make assumptions about things, those are created from your head as opposed to what would actually be happening. I think a way to like make an open mind is to just like start questioning things and like looking at the world with like a bit more curiosity than like disdain. It would be really fun if you lived in a big city and you just like started going out to different places you've never been to because you never know what you'll find. Especially for the girlies that try manifesting, one of the best things that you can do is just ask where you should go and then going there. Just the first thing that comes up within reason and seeing what that does for you. Because after all, like I only know what I'm working through right now, and for me, my open mind looks like I don't know what's going to come next. Like, or I don't understand everything. Like, when I see something that kind of shocks me, you can sit with it because you don't know what's going to come out of it. And also, it's integral for life in general, because there's always going to be something that comes up. There's the saying, like, life happens. And so, life does, in fact, always happen. It's not the question of whether or not something will happen, it's who am I going to be if and when something does? Like when things go wrong, what kind of person am I being? Am I being someone who's going to constrict this life and try to control everything that goes on around me? Or am I going to try and be open minded so when something comes up, like my flight gets canceled last minute, or you lose something extremely dear to you, you could take a step back and try to look at it from an altered perspective, because maybe your flight getting canceled helps you to meet the love of your life, or maybe it helps you to find more patience and peace and not rush so much, because you get off track when you try to force things in your life to go a certain way. This especially goes for when you want to date guys and you think that they're the ones for you and you care so much, but they don't ever treat you right, or they ghost you and you're like, but I wanted him so bad. Me, I've been ghosted quite a few times, and I used to get really upset about it until I realized that, like, I don't want these people. I don't want to be around people that don't like me. And that's a lesson that was hard to learn, and I only learned it because I lost all my friends, because that we weren't compatible. We weren't a match. We always argued. That's the difference between having an open mind and then also just knowing something. I want to talk about knowing thyself. So, like, just clear out the space from your head of what you think life is like, and that's pretty close to enlightenment. Having, like, just surrendering to life as it is, but not forgetting about your goals and working towards what you like and what makes you happy and joyful is the pinnacle of it. I also think a lot. I think a lot because I care a lot about life and I care a lot about myself. And if I could say one more thing, I would say just because something doesn't go your way doesn't mean that the universe doesn't like you. Sometimes it's just preparing you for something that you'll really love. Thank you for watching. My name is City. I'm the next big thing. Don't forget to follow me on my other posts and keep watching the Hot Girl Frequency. It's totally aligned if you're here, so come and join us. Come be a citizen. That's what I call my fans, and I love you.